I'd like to welcome you to our July board meeting and call this meeting to order. I'll entertain a motion to, before we start, I want to introduce Mr. St. John, Kevin St. John, our new superintendent. Right there,
Hello.
camera close up. And then if you guys will entertain a motion to move into, to start the budget hearing.
I'll make motion to enter the budget hearing.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Vanessa, do you want to start us off?
It's actually, if there's anyone from the public that wants to address the board, this is their,
Want to talk about the budget a little bit?
well, I'm going to do that later on the agenda.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions out there about the budget?
If there's no one from the public here to address it or have questions, then we just close it.
Okay. Nobody? Okay. Then I'll entertain a motion to close the public budget hearing.
I so move.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Mrs. Schultz will lead us in the pledge, and Mr. Larson is going to give the invocation.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father in heaven, we're grateful to be here this evening. We're grateful for the opportunity to serve in the individual capacities that we have and as a board. We are grateful for those in our school district who administer and teach our children and all the other folks that help out in the various capacities, and ask for a blessing upon them and help them to understand how grateful we are for them. We ask thee to attend us this evening. Help us in our decisions, that we might make the decisions that will be best for our district and for our children, and do so in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. No call to the audience, Virginia?
No, I think I have to.
Okay. Does anybody have future board agenda items? Item 4.3?
Last month I had asked that we look at the small group of people who didn't receive any increases in their salary, and I think it's probably just oversight that it didn't get on today's, but I believe it was Ms. Starkle who had brought that to our attention, and we were going to look into that.
Okay. Can
So-
Vanessa, bring that back to us, and
That would
Mr.
be-
St. John?
That would be wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else? No?
Did we approve the agenda?
Yeah, when we started. Do
We
you want
did.
to do it again? Okay.
No, I can't remember if we approved the agenda.
We did
We
the
called
budget
we
hearing.
called to order, and then we went to the public hearing.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I so move.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Item 5.1, approval of proposed school start and stop times. Mr. West?
Madam President, members of the board, Mr. Superintendent. We're bringing to you tonight the proposal to have staggered start and stop times for all Shola schools. A lot of this has been come up in public meetings to have our K-12 students separated on our school buses, as well as a driver shortage issue. We only have approximately 7 bus routes for this coming year, and with staggered start and stop times, we'll have the ability to pick up our elementary students, take them to school, go back out, pick up their siblings in junior high and high school, bring them to school, and then reverse it in the afternoon with using the limited staff that we currently have. Do you have the proposed times, or do you want me to?
If you want to tell us.
Sure. So the proposal that we have at this moment is Whipple Ranch Elementary School would go from 7:45 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Nicholas Homestead Elementary would start at 7:45 and get released at 2:45. Linden Elementary School would start at 7:30 and get released at 2:30. The junior high school would start school at 8:30 and be released at 3:40. And the high school would start school at 8:25 and be released at 3:36.
You guys have any questions for Mr. West?
Sorry, that's not what is on the, those times are different from what's in the letter that we have on board docs?
The one for Linden Elementary School was changed because of minutes and staffing. We wouldn't be able to get school buses to the high school until after 4:10 if they didn't start at 7:30 in the morning.
So sorry, can you say them again? Because I can't remember.
Sure.
Hold on, let me.
You're gonna write it down, right?
All right, I'm trying to find my pen. I'm always giving you pens.
Well,
Okay, I found it. Sorry.
So Whipple Ranch would be 7:45 to 2:30.
Because on here that says
It says 2:45
2:45, so it'd
currently.
be 2:30.
Maybe 2:30, and then Nicholas Homestead Elementary would be 7:45 to 2:45. Linden Elementary would change from 7:45 to 7:30, releasing at 2:30. The junior high would be 8:30 to 3:40, and the high school 8:25 to 3:36.
Okay.
Sean, I just want to confirm, Linden will be 7:45?
7:30.
Okay, 7:30. Okay,
7:30.
yeah, I think he says
And you'll
7:45.
send this out to parents, like Facebook?
Yeah, so we'll present a
everywhere?
letter. So if this is
Letter?
approved tonight, a letter will go out to parents tomorrow via the new communication software. I don't remember what it's called, the e-script or something like that. I will send that out to parents tomorrow.
You do
if
on social media
approved
too?
by the
Yeah.
board. And then Facebook.
We're gonna blast
And-
it everywhere we
correct.
Just
possibly
keep doing
can,
it
right?
over and over.
Correct. And we do apologize to parents. We know this is the last minute thing. We've been working on this for months, but with the different strategic issues from the summer, this is the first time that we were able to sit down as an administrative team to come down with solidified numbers to bring.
Find a solution, right? Looks good. Thanks, Mr. West.
Another pointer that I wanted you to bring up is the fact that we will have kids that will not be riding on the bus K through 12 together on the bus. So this is
Correct.
kind of separating that, the grade levels from K to 5, no, K to 5 and then 6 to
K-5.
12, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So all Whipple Ranch and Nicholas Homestead Elementary students will ride together. We'll come back to the routes, pick up our 6th through 12th grade, and they'll ride on the same bus. I should mention, however, we will also be putting on our website the new district route sheets. We have had to eliminate several route stops to make these staggered start and stop times happen. An example of that is like currently we go all the way to Maverick and the fire station in Lakeside. The Lowe's Home Center will be the farthest out off of White Mountain Lake that we will now go. And then we will turn around. So anyone that lives out in Lakeside that is used to getting picked up either at Maverick or the fire station will now need to come to Lowe's in order for us to transport them, or they'll have to bring themselves. And we're also looking at a stop change for the North Fork Ranch students, which will affect all open enrollment students K through 8 that would come in from Concho or Vernon.
And if we were ever to be blessed with more bus drivers who may want to come to the district, we may be looking at this differently in the future.
Yes, if
If
we
we
get
were
more
able-
staff, we can open more areas up and transport those students. But as of the first day of school, we will not have the ability to transport.
Thank you.
Have any more questions?
Thank you for all your hard work on this. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Mr. West. I'll entertain a motion to approve the proposed start and stop times.
So motion.
Second.
On favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 5.2, approval of overnight and out-of-state travel. You guys have any questions about the trips coming up? Camp Friendly Pines, cross country, boys varsity soccer camp trip, and League of Cities student leaders, that's student council, right?
I'll make motion to approve overnight and out-of-state travel as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 6.1, approval of new and revised positions. Vanessa, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So this is the same new, I guess it's not new necessarily. The district did approve an additional accounts payable position back in December of 2019 with 3 months later, we had COVID, and then with all those changes, that position, we've never hired fully for that. So I've kind of tweaked it, and the new position that we're in need of would support accounts payable. They would cross-train and back up accounts payable and payroll and HR. So it's with the compliance specialist over procurement. The duties would directly support all the finance staff in the district. Specifically, they will review and train on many of the processes that were brought to the board's attention in the audit, which are our cash handling, deposits, vendor management, the purchasing due diligence, and the capital asset management. A lot of these items, I guess for our district, a lot of the processes that we have with our previous auditor that we had, a lot of the things were just, they were okayed and it was good. With the new audit team that we have, Heinfeld Meach, they're very, they're the top rated auditing team in the state. And a lot of those things that we're doing just don't slide. The requirements, they're holding they're holding us to the letter. So a lot of these processes and things that we're required to do will require a lot more paperwork, a lot more due diligence. We'll have to do a lot. Just a lot of people usually call up in one day, hey, I want to purchase this. We can set up a new vendor and get the purchase and have a purchase order like super quick. There's a lot of vetting that needs to go into the new vendor. We're required to do a federal search on sam.gov. We're required to collect cooperative paperwork, justification paperwork, due diligence for each and every vendor every year. Those are simply files and things that we have not done. Certainly something that we can do. It's going to require more manpower. With the ESSER funding that came our way, it was great, 10.6 million. There's a lot of reporting that's required and a lot of red tape. I listed out all of the current finance secretaries that we have in our district right now, just for your information. And at the district level, we have two ladies to intercept and bring in all of those purchasing needs and requirements from the entire district. It's a little too heavy. This person would take on the initial point of contact, get the vendor in line, get them set up properly, do all that due diligence, do all the paperwork that's required so that it would pass the audit approval. And then it would be passed on to accounts payable for coding and things like that. So it's just, like I mentioned, it's going to take a little bit to get our district in order with the new processes and everybody in line. But once we do that, this person can certainly, like I mentioned, we have a need for backup in payroll, support in HR, especially during hiring. The district is very, very busy, and we need more support.
Vanessa, this new person, she or he would be trained with Heinfeld Meach also, so that she'll know what's expected
Yes,
of the
they would
position and
be-
everything. Good.
Yes, they would be
Okay.
the direct point of contact with the auditors on what's required.
Great.
And not all these finance secretaries are full-time, right? I mean, some of them are like 10.5-month employees.
All of the secretaries are 11 months, except for the high school does have the athletic secretary is 12-month, and then the federal programs as well as the SPED. So there's several, I guess. All of them are either 11 or 12 months.
You guys have any more questions for Vanessa?
No.
No? Okay, then I'll entertain a motion to approve the new and revised position for district compliance specialist.
So motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 6.2, approval of new hires, renewals, and transfers. Vanessa?
So for your review and approval, that's our list of, most of them are new hires. I believe on the bottom there's some of the transfers, so internal transfers. I'm excited to say we did find an HR specialist. So
We're happy to.
Yes.
She's fantastic. So yeah, we're hoping that we can get the district office functioning more efficiently. It's very frustrating to the sites when we can't pump things out. It's very frustrating to us. So yeah, we're excited about it.
I will make a motion to approve the new hires as presented, with the exception of what the people, our paraprofessionals and transfers are to be 32 hours or less, as we previously discussed as a board of wanting to keep those positions within that hour rate. So, that's my motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 6.3, approval of resignations, retirements, and terminations. Mrs. Beecroft.
So we just had one parapro self-contained at the high school.
Motion we approve.
Sorry.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Item 6.4, approval of changes to the certified administration evaluation tool. Do you guys have any questions on that? Mr. Bosley had left that information for us before he left.
I don't quite understand it. I'm sorry.
I think part of their evaluation was based on academic achievement. The points was weighted.
And so
And
this
so I
is
think he
removing
said we
it?
should waive that.
Okay,
Right
got
Come
now.
up with a new plan on how to do that because things have changed.
Yeah.
What's in the evaluation, the way it's saying to do it is not how, we can't even do it that way anymore
Yeah.
because the state
Yep.
testing has changed so much.
Yep.
So they need to, so the administrators need to collaborate to come up with a new way of having that in the,
their contracts.
in the rubric going forward.
I'll make motion to approve as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Item 7.1, adoption of the 2022-23 school year expenditure budget. Vanessa.
Presentation here. So for fiscal 22-23, I've just tried to give some highlights to the budget. So for M&O, the budget will be approximately 17.8 million. There's still some final tweaks that the state is doing, but it should be in that neighborhood. For the last several years, our district is kind of stuck with the 2% projection of increase in growth for ADM. I went ahead and based the numbers and the data on the 2% increase. It is uncertain if we will achieve this growth as we're having to close the K-8 open enrollment due to staffing shortages. One thing with the budget, you can easily revise it down in December, and ADE will actually require us to do that, but we can't increase. So if we don't make the projection, and then we actually had a 3% growth, we wouldn't be allowed to capture any of that. So I did go ahead and calculate it at the 2% increase. We are facing some staffing challenges. We're trying to address a lot of that, and I think that's been shared a little bit by Mr. West, some of the challenges also with the transportation. So K-8, the open enrollment, was that on? Did we already cover that?
It wasn't on the agenda. It was on the study session. So.
Is it not? We can't take action on that tonight then?
Mm-mm.
We need to schedule
it-
something that's
Mhm.
special?
I thought there was,
Not an action item.
Yeah,
it should have been.
I just
Yeah.
looked on the agenda.
and I was looking for,
I'm like, wait a
should we
minute.
have voted on that already? And it's not on here.
Yeah, that's what I just looked back to.
Okay.
Okay, I apologize. I did think that it was an agenda item, but I'll just go ahead and say that the district is probably going to have to close K-8 open enrollment because of the staffing shortages. We're still looking for teachers. So the budget has capacity for growth. We are actively trying to recruit teachers and paraprofessionals to help support teachers. The budget has the capacity for growth and hiring the staffing levels to accommodate that. But there's a few other factors. I'm sure everyone is aware the economy kind of bleak right now. We have 40-year record high inflation. There's high unemployment. Those are economic challenges that all employers are facing. There's just, I think there's 2 jobs for every 1 person looking for a job. So it's very difficult to try and recruit right now for any position. This is going to be, I guess, impacted more in January. As you're aware, every year the minimum wage goes up and it's tied to inflation. So we're projected in January to push minimum wage as a state close to $14 an hour. So that's going to hurt our ability to hire for some of the entry-level positions. Our dollar's just not going to go as far. So I don't have that like actual number. It's pushed out in January, but so this is just a projection. So in all likelihood, we will probably do a December revision and not meet that increase. But I built it in and budgeted for it anyhow. I don't know if the board has any questions or.
Did the budget that got passed finally, I think last month, did it impact us at all in a good way, or is it?
Yeah,
the same?
they did increase the base support level, which ups the amount for the students. It's kind of difficult with, we're short on staff. We can increase spending per student, but I mean, we need the extra staff to accommodate the student number. So that's M&O. As part of the budget for capital, as you guys are aware, last year they did go ahead and add back in previous levels for capital, which means our district this year will be approximately a $1.2 million budget for capital, which is great. I know last month or maybe the month before, the committee that worked on the capital expenditures, the needs that we have, the capital needs assessment. Sean and I have already been meeting about that. We have a lot of those in the works. They're planning. Capital, just kind of informational. It's funding that's approved for your furniture, equipment, computers and software, facility maintenance and building upgrades, and vehicles. So none of those things can come from M&O. They come from capital, which has been very limited in our district for a while. So we're really excited to get some of those projects going and done. We've done a few already over the summer. We've tried to hit, you guys hopefully have seen obviously the high school gym was an insurance thing with the flood, but the high school gym floor looks fantastic. They've redone and resurfaced the junior high gym as well as the Nicholas gym. We're working, the board just approved on June 30th, the flooring in the cafeteria at Whipple, which has been there for quite some time. We are also looking at upgrading the cafeteria flooring in the junior high, which I think is original. It might be a little trickier. I think when speaking with Sean, when you get down into that, I'm not even sure what the material is, but there's a possibility of maybe asbestos being in the base. So that one, we'll have to look at timing on that one, because obviously the kids can't be there. We're going to have budget available for new textbooks. Our district, it was the need for textbooks, since we've kind of been using the Beyond textbooks, has been a little limited. But there will be budget available mostly for high school level classes, as well as instructional aids. That is a point of frustration because the instructional aids are items like instructional software. If you wanted a certain workbook set or something like that, it can't come from M&O. So we will have capital available for each teacher to budget for textbooks or instructional aids. We're going to continue with some of the auditorium upgrades. Like I said previously, the lighting upgrade is still happening. It is scheduled actually, Dawn, correct me, is it this week? Next week. Next week they're going to be here. Clearwing is going to be here upgrading the lighting in the auditorium. It's a full-blown upgrade in the house and on the stage. So we're gonna have to kind of reconfigure the sound booth and make sure that it's secure with all the new equipment. So that's happening, and then there's some cosmetic things. The bathrooms we're gonna look at and see if that's feasible. I think the roof right now is in, hopefully going to be replaced by the SFB.
Can we also please look into those stairs that go up to the stage? Okay. well,
To the stage,
Yeah,
we can
thank
do
you.
that. There's also, we're gonna have budget for the athletic facility upgrades. I know Mr. Kashner did a great job on a lot of the facility, and really, we've got some really good things happening in the gym. They redid the scoreboard. We've re-leveled the high school and both the softball fields, the track, the surface was repaired, the wrestling mats were repaired, but we can all agree that a lot of our equipment, whether, just district facilities and general athletic facilities, need attention. So that's kind of some of the things that we're looking at with the capital. Like I said, we'll definitely be following the capital needs assessment that was done by the committee and addressing those items. I believe paint. Sean, are we painting over the summer?
We have some weatherization projects.
Okay, so there's several weatherization projects that are being finalized. So we will get new paint on a lot of the buildings and the classrooms. So that's just a highlight on the capital, and that's the fiscal 23 budget for your approval.
Vanessa, I just had one question. So what is the approximate number that we're going to get per student for this upcoming school year?
I think it increased from roughly 4,500 to 4,700.
Okay, so a couple hundred.
So it's a nice bump, but
Mhm.
with inflation and the price,
Wow.
everything's so high. So it'll be gobbled up with inflation, really,
Mhm.
but it's nice that they increased it.
Right, exactly.
So
I'll make motion to adopt the 22-23 school year expenditure budget as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 7.2, approval of fiscal, is it supposed to be 22, 23 signers? Or just 23?
yeah, sorry.
Okay,
23.
22, 23 bank account signers, Vanessa?
So we need approval for the following staff to be the authorized account signers for the upcoming 22-23 school year. Mr. Kevin St. John, our interim superintendent, myself as the business manager, and Jennifer Stroop as our accounts payable clerk.
No motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Item 7.3, approval of fiscal year 22-23 student activity accounts treasurer.
So this is something that was new that the auditors brought to my attention, that we are supposed to board approve student activities district treasurer. Theory Holiday has always acted in that capacity, but we've never officially board approved her. She does a great job. She reviews and approves all the student activity purchase orders currently. She writes the checks, she balances their account. So we just ask for her to be board approved as the official student activities district treasurer for the upcoming 22-23 school year.
No motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 8.1 through 8.5, Vanessa, consent agenda.
So for your review and approval, we have 8.1 ratification of all the expense vouchers, 8.2 ratification of all the payroll vouchers, 8.3 approval of substitutes, which I'm happy to say Evie is going to help us out in payroll and stay on as a substitute to get us through, and hopefully so we can recruit someone. 8.4 approval of PTSO and Booster Club financials. 8.5 approval of tax credit and activity account balances. And 8.6 the approval of the June 2022 regular and special board meeting minute.
I'll make motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thanks, everybody.